Good evening and welcome back to the Dwarven Fortress of Keskalokil, where last time through extensive putting people into the military we've managed to get down to only 4 maximally unhappy and hence prone to depression dwarves, which is nice because that might mean we can start teaching people to swim again, which will be helpful to avoid drowning everyone in the river so often. Not that anyone's drowned in the river recently, because the goblin invasions have either been feeble or from the wrong direction. Well, I say not that anyone has drowned in the river. I think several goblins have drowned in the river. We can indeed see them. There's one there, and there's one there. But none of our dwarves have drowned recently. We do now have a stockpile for accumulating pieces of dwarves waiting to be buried. Not so much dwarves who've actually died as pieces of dwarves who haven't died yet and thus who don't yet have anywhere to bury the bits of their bodies. I'm now wondering if I assign a tomb to the person whose teeth these are, or to the people whose teeth these are. Will the teeth then be stored in that tomb even though they're not dead yet? Don't know. I might experiment. All right, and we had arranged that our pet eagle, which we were slightly surprised to discover we owned, is now, or rather our tame eagle is now available to anyone who happens to want an eagle as a pet. Because I think that would be entertaining. Sadly, you can't train eagles for war, as far as I can tell. Like you can dogs and possibly bears. I'm not sure. There is a grizzly bear lying around. But, or at least there was last time we checked, but we think it's probably owned by this merchant who, for some reason, doesn't seem to be doing anything. So I'm like a little bit uncertain what's going to happen with that. Like, he's not trading. We can't trade. There are no merchants trading right now, but there is a merchant, and I think they possess, I think they own some of the stuff in our trade depot, and they have a camel, but I think the camel may be injured. Tea. I have tea apparently. Doesn't look injured, but it does seem to be lying down. It may just be lazy, I suppose. So yes, I think last time I had just finished locking people out of the swimming pool, so that then I could refill it with water and then refill it with minecarts. So let's find the lever that does that. Why is there a forbidden barrel of whip wine there? Unforbid the barrel of whip wine. That isn't a forbidden crutch, is it? No. Still don't know why that crutch is there. Why isn't it being put into this stockpile? Does this stockpile somehow ban crutches? Tools. Don't seem to be tools there. They finished goods are. Why are the finished goods shown as grey there? When... Oh, grey I think means half done and red means not at all. All right, crutches are actually banned from that. Oh, because there was some thing involving people wanting crutches to trade, wasn't there? Does that mean that this stockpile has a weird requirement, had a weird requirement for crutches, and I think is now crowns? So what I should do is I should re-enable crutches in this stockpile, and that will finally get that damn crutch out of the way. Right. Right, that's set up to butcher some things, but we don't need, yeah, that chitin's already marked for dumping. That chitin can also be marked for dumping. Wild boar cartilage is not useful either. Right, oh yes, lever to fill up the swimming pool. We still haven't got the automatic swimming pool filling machine, have we? Because that requires me to do arithmetic. Not much, to be fair. It requires me to go 6 by, I don't know. Actually, no, we can measure things now in Dwarf Fortress, can't we? We can go, we can say we want to mine that area, and the system will tell us that that's 67 by 6 squares. Actually, no, we can do this. Oh no, maybe that doesn't work. Yes, and so we want to fill it to a depth of 4/7. So we want to know what 4/7 of 67 times 6 is, more or less. A bit deeper than that, because we have a few extra squares we need. One. Oh, and we have to fill up the underground passages as well. No, that's going to be too complicated. Let's just stick with doing it by hand. Eventually we'll deal with it, but not right now. How are we doing with sticking heads on spikes, as it were? So that's assigned but not yet installed. So we'll stick, I think, to the approach of putting heads on the pedestals one at a time, because I think when I do that I can not get horribly confused. We're getting some excellent things being made. I should have looked at what we were being interrupted by there. Oh well, if it matters, someone will get into a fight with it. Someone seems to have left some random chitin around. Yes, that should just be marked for dumping, really. And we are presumably in the process of hooking up the west gate lever to the new west gate. You can still take some more water in the mist generator, so we'll let that happen. And the crutch has been shifted finally. Yes, good. Suspect a Kakapo head is not actually usable. Right, we still have agitated giant flies around, apparently. If they descend to ground level, they're likely to get into fights. Is that also not our horse, presumably, given it's there? Yes, it's a horse from the Kingdoms of Tin. Right, we are filling up the swimming pool again for the first time in, like, years. But that will take a little while. So, 6 unhappy dwarves. Right, let's check they're all right. It occurred to me, though, that as long as we don't have too many of them, they will, if they're all in the military, if all the adults are in the military, I don't think the children can ride the minecarts. They are not all in the military, though. Asen Zazitaguz is not in the military. You should be put in the military. So, Goden Zondendonk is only barely happy, but Imush doesn't appear to be anywhere in there. So, Zazitaguz currently in the Ageless Inks. No, you're not anymore. You're now in the Lardy Larks. Let us now see if we can find someone to stick into the... Right, there we go. What? That one is apparently a skeleton assigned to it rather than a head. That seems like it's incorrect. Let's mark that one as no thank you and try again. So I think anything that's marked as a skeleton rather than a head is probably not the correct object. That sounds like something that might be helpful though. If, like, it's not in the river or something. No, that's the paw of an agitated wombat. That's fine. Suppose if I find any loose goblin heads in the river, I can always forbid them as well. Right, how's the water depth looking? Still need more water. Oh dear, have you just toppled, I presume you toppled the lever rather than the gate itself. But that's still a bit inconvenient. Yes. Well, let's build a new lever then. Right, you're presumably a terribly unhappy child. Yes. Doing an attend meeting task, but actually appears to be busy getting into a fight. They are only 4 years old. Oh, who's that? Oh, that's the stray eagle, right, yes. I was thinking, why is there an elf wandering around my fortress? Oh, it's not an elf, it's an eagle. Yes, I'm sure you can make an excellent roast out of giant thrips intestines. Yes, something like that. I think I'm going to assume we can't do anything with an agitated kakapo head. Oh dear, the eagle is fighting. Are you fighting with a small child? No, you're fighting with an agitated tearsel peregrine. I don't want that. That's really unhelpful. P.S. Why is there an agitated tearsel peregrine down here?
That is a question, isn't it?
Let us ask. I mean, the eagle can probably take the peregrine, but just to be on the safe side. Let us send some troops down there to deal with it. Yes, I think they're both a bit overexerted now. Being well, someone will come down the stairs soon. Oh dear, the eagles managed to get injured, I think. Yes. She might heal. Someone should come and deal with this peregrine. I mean, really, an eagle should not have that much difficulty fending off peregrine, but possibly the eagle is unwilling to. Oh, the eagle has actually started fighting back a little. I think the peregrine is just much faster. Aha, here comes someone to try to deal with the problem. No, that's the wrong direction. You weren't meant to bite it. So there's a slight problem that it appears when you hit a Tearsal peregrine with a mace, the consequence is the peregrine just goes whee into the distance. Repeated, propelled away by the force of the blow. All right, it has been killed though. Right, excellent. Oh, and the eagles died as well. Less excellent. We had an eagle briefly. But then it got into a fight with the local wildlife, and the local wildlife somehow managed to win.
It's odd that this fight between two birds happened at elevation -10 as well.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I suppose if I were a bird and I found myself 10 floors below ground, I'd be a bit pissed off.
Curiously, that corridor does seem to be where a lot of the upset wildlife turns out to be. So now I should forbid that head and then assign a head to this pedestal. No, choose body parts first. Otherwise I end up going through an enormous pile of unhelpful objects. That sounds... Ooh, yeah, that's... Oh, actually, Smutsu is definitely a goblin name. What's that? Oh, it's an agitated giant hamster. Can't detect a weapon trap, though. Appears to have taken like one iron arrow. No, maybe not. Gareth is showing me a picture of an agitated giant hamster. Or at least as giant as he can fit on an iPad screen. Okay, yes, it did get slightly more than one arrow shot at it. It also got a crossbow bolt and then several random copper weapons which comprehensively killed it. Not quite sure where its corpse is. Did I leave it unpaused so long that someone's picked it up? Don't think so. Oh well, what's that object? That can be dumped. Look like there's a dead giant hamster in the river. Oh, that's getting quite full. Let's turn the pumps off.
But we shame if he survived in 40 years and think they've got even them off.
Right, sorry, I'm getting distracted. The pool depth, yes, is looking reasonable. Another Tearsal peregrine's getting into a fight, but frankly, with a dwarf, I really expect the dwarf to win. So I think now we're waiting for the all the water level to stabilise, and then we can work out whether it's the correct one. Here comes someone to reload the weapon trap. I think it still needs a bit more loading. Oh, there's another dead, agitated giant hamster. There's a bit of a problem with having all this agitated wildlife, which is that it does mean we have a lot of meat. Right, it looks like we don't consider anything currently in there to be butcherable. The eagle probably because it's kind of friendly, and the peregrine probably because it's tiny. This was the person who had, whom we had put into the Lardy Larks just now, and she's already significantly happier. Mostly it looks like as a result of taking off her armour and putting on something different. Pleasure after putting on a truly splendid item and an excellent item. All of which are kind of worn out, well, a bit worn, and like she could do with wearing something other than a bracelet, 2 gloves and a sock. But if it makes her happy, like she should still try to fulfil her needs a bit. She is still trying to find suitable items to wear, to be fair. Another sock. And some trousers. And a vest. I mean, at least our clothing stores are reasonably close to one another. You've already got one pair of trousers on. Well, I suppose if you want to wear a pair of troll fur under trousers and yak leather over trousers, you can. That was just collecting a covering of water by walking through the waterfall. Where are you going now? What are you going to collect? Ah, a shoe and another shoe. Still not fully dressed. Oh, this is the wrong person. This is actually not the person I was intending to watch, but still, it's someone else cheering themselves up by putting clothes on, so. Oh, you finally got enough clothes. Someone else, however, has slipped into depression. You don't look like you should be depressed, but you don't have any family nearby, which is probably a problem. Like, as far as we know, you have no family at all. Right. I think that might be slightly too little water. I mean, it doesn't matter, I suppose, very much, because it mostly means that they can't, that dwarves will not learn to swim in certain parts of the swimming pool because it's not deep enough. Yeah, mostly just getting into fights with depressed children. Yeah, we have a problem with not being able to fell trees because the agitated giant flies keep getting in the way. But yeah, that will be, it might be a bit of a nuisance. Right, there's a fight between an agitated giant fly here and... what is happening to you? You're playing make-believe, but you're also apparently airborne. I think by virtue of being pushed quite violently by the agitated giant fly. So yes, I think she has just landed painfully, I expect. Ow, yes. Her left hand has been quite badly hurt, among other things. Why were you not wearing gloves? Possibly you were wearing gloves, but given that you've only got bruised by your by the bits of you that were in a cloak or a or leather trousers. You did have gloves on. Well, okay. Apparently this was not adequate to... Oh dear, you have both hands mangled beyond recognition. Yes, I think you're going to need to go to hospital for that, you know. I appreciate that you want to play make-believe. I also think you're about to be attacked by 3 giant flies. They may only have push attacks, but those are quite scary in something that's the size of a giant fly.
Especially if you're something that's the size of a child.
Yes. Whose monthly orders are to be patrolling? Not the cobalt tongs. The ageless inks should already be patrolling. Let's ask them to take out those 3 giant flies. Because I think those giant flies might be a problem for this unfortunate child. Yes, you're satisfied at improving your wrestling, but you're also, in danger of being killed by these giant flies. Unless someone can come along and... Here's someone coming to give them a good... Oh dear, you're dead. Still appreciate it if someone could come and kill the giant flies, mind. Because they're apparently quite dangerous. Right, that's better. I mean, strictly I can use the drawbridge as a giant fly swat, but it's not very efficient.
It would work amazingly well in netpack.
Right, so that's that skull installed. We will continue this slow but steady process of installing new skulls in the actually that one might be reasonable, but we've chosen one now.
not just Firefox does it a lot, but
Right, I think we want very slightly more water in that swimming pool. Let's have 2 high priority lever pullings to add just a little bit of extra water. No, it may not actually be just a little bit, depending on how fast people get round to pulling the lever. I'm sorry to report, Judson, that while you can make a drawbridge 31 tiles long, it doesn't extend 31 tiles into the air when you raise it. It kind of folds up into 1 tile high. Right, we have put, I think we've put a small amount of extra water into the swimming pool. That seems like a sensible depth now. So now we could try to remember how we load it up. So we definitely want to start with all of the levers in the left position, and then we need to make sure that we empty everything to mark all of the track sections as unoccupied. We'll do that the simple way by just pulling all of the empty levers. Except, of course, that we don't want. Actually, yes, that was in the right state, wasn't it? We want the 5s to be unpulled. Stoats. I should have paused while I was having that thought. We want the 5s to be 5 fills to be pulled. To say, even when we launch a minecart from them, they should be marked as full. But all of the other empty levers should be pulled twice. In order to make sure that everything, all of the track circuits show as unoccupied. We do not need agitated giant hamster nervous tissue or cartilage. Or more nervous tissue or more cartilage. Or might want a foot. Peregrines we know are too small. Dogs are probably not going to get butchered, but we'll see. Now someone's getting into a fight with... Oh, right, yes, while you are technically a wrestler, you do have weapons. You're just better at wrestling than at anything else, which is silly. Right, and that's that giant fly dealt with. There is, we believe, still a giant fly out there somewhere. So I presume these guys are waiting to see if it lands. And when it does, they will rush up to it and kill it. And apparently this does actually work. Like, you would have thought that a flying creature would be capable of escaping from dwarves who haven't bothered to arm themselves with ranged weapons. Where are you guys going? Like, there isn't really anywhere to go around there. See? Are you hoping that a giant fly will land somewhere over there? I think there's a soldier somewhere under this lot. All right, yes, it is actually, the beach is reasonably long, so just going, oh, this is an unusual bit of the map to look at. Yes, we don't usually see the north side of the bay.
I think we did see it last week when you banished someone.
Oh, possibly, yes.
That was the route out they took.
But for some reason, the military dwarves have decided to wander along a distant beach in search of giant flies. Right, where are we? Yes. Right, so all of the relevant track circuits are showing unoccupied. Let's just check we don't have any pending tasks to pull levers. No, it doesn't look like it. Right, so we could start now putting minecarts back. So as I recall, the way that we do that is okay, they all appear to have minecarts assigned anyway. Does that mean there's a big stack of minecarts at each start point? It does. So in that case, all I need to do is to change the conditions on NA, be cautious, NA and SA, to have them set off immediately. We will not have anyone riding them initially. We only have one seriously depressed adult dwarf, and they are in the Lardy Larks, so that should, which is set to train continuously, which should stop them trying to ride the minecart. Right, we've got another head in place. So let's find some more body parts to put on display. That sounds like, oh, there's a song. Right. Mute Steph. We are desperately butchering things. That can be disposed of, and that can be disposed of. And that can be disposed of. We're now making acorn roasts. Well, I suppose if you were you the person who was beating the things to death with your shield? Right, so the first minecart, a minecart on each loop is sitting in the place we expect it to be. So now we'll do B. And then so on in that fashion. We still haven't really managed to cut down many trees, have we? Recently. So have we now got the new west gate lever installed? We have. We should thus link that to the new west gate. And then we can... indeed, we may as well demolish the old west gate now, because it doesn't work, because someone pushed the lever over. Not in a good way. Hazelnut roast. Right, finally actually going to cut a tree down. And a masterpiece giant hamster bone bracelet. Don't worry, I'm sure Hammy doesn't have bones. The legs might be destructible, but butcherable. Indeed, there we are. Someone is butchering a fly leg. Well, a giant fly leg, obviously. An ordinary sized fly does not have legs worth butchering. So, yes, that's that. Oh, that's another head put in place. I think we might need to install more pedestals, but we'll see. That looks like a goblin name. There is a slight danger I'll end up installing some poor dwarf's head on the pedestal, which is not what I'm trying to do. Right, so now we have two mine carts on each side. Let us enable the third one on each side. Right, off we go. That's an awful... Oh, someone's successfully felled a tree, haven't they? Yes. Also, well, there's a dead giant fly there. That's probably not an entirely relevant one, though. The Ageless Inks are still trying to kill a giant fly. I think possibly I should cancel that order. On the grounds that, like, the child is long dead.
It's not about avenging the child, it's about protecting the next one.
Yes, yes, but I think moreover, it was about protecting that child, which was like futile from the start, apparently. But I think we can leave it to the patrols to spot spare giant flies. Right, everyone is coming out here to help with moving the wood. As we gradually remove the trees from the... Oh, should I stop filling this? Yeah, I think I should stop filling this thing with water before it starts overflowing. Right, forbid another head, and assign a head to this one. This does work quite well, really. I think I finally have a way of doing this without getting myself horribly, horribly confused. And Dwarf Fortress is very much a game in which becoming horribly, horribly confused is quite easy. No, we don't want to do that yet. We now want to first to reset those two levers so that when we launch the next minecart, the number 5 track circuits will show as unoccupied. Right, and we are getting plenty of wood. And also plenty of chitin, which we don't need. The butcher's shop is full of giant flies, and not because the butcher's shop is full of flies eating the meat or anything. No, those are the things they're butchering. See, Masterpiece prepared giant fly heart roast. I think a giant fly is big enough that it needs a circulatory system. Like, when you're that big, you can't just rely on diffusion or whatever else flies use for getting stuff around their bodies. So yes, I think giant flies have hearts. Right, so those levers have now been reset, which means that now we can set the next minecart. Now I think we can switch everything. Well, let's make minecart D on each side set up for riding. And then we'll check that that works and then enable the rest. I think we just won't switch those ones off riding. Oh, we have 5 unhappy dwarves. Let's check on them. They all appear to be in the military, and I'm going to assume, let's check. Don't assume. But I think Momos, Avuz, Lular, and Asenzat yeah, I put them in a moment ago. And oh no, not them. No, it's only one. It's only Momuz who is actually maximally depressed and an adult. Otherwise, it's all children who are maximally depressed. Right. How's your swimming anyway? You're already a competent swimmer. You don't really need any more swimming training, but...
How's my swimming? Call 0800 splosh.
Okay, we already appear to have a puddle of blood in our swimming pool. I'm just watching the minecarts, and they all seem to be, each one seems to be correctly triggering the next one to move. So that's nice. Still seem to be agitated giant flies around. Also a giant bat, but I bet they're underground, yes. Squawk. Right, dwarves are still learning to swim. How are you doing? What's your swimming skill looking like? You're already a skilled swimmer. Really necessary to get any better than that. All right, we are still actually in the process of making more armour for the military. Slightly to my surprise. Right, dumping yet more kite in. I suspect that stray dog is not going to get butchered. So we need a couple more pushings of... it occurs to me that if the signals were closer together on the different tracks, then the dwarves could probably socialise while riding the minecart, which would probably be good for them. Oh, it's just some tribute. Because it's now summer. There is the tribute arriving. I'm glad they've brought a bodyguard because, well, there are agitated giant flies around. Right, I think someone has successfully ridden the southern loop. The northern loop not quite yet.
Well, probably the northern loop is the one that's got weird time anomaly or something.
Yes. Well, it's more that it's slightly further away, so it's I think people tend to choose the southern one when they want to go and push a minecart around. Right, so I think we can quite reasonably adjust all of these back to riding. we go. Kibsan Rababan is, as is often the way, depressed. Copper Lances have sent us 5 grapes, 1 willow chest, 1 alpaca wool rope, 1 alpaca wool bag, 1 steel toy axe, 1 llama wool bag, and 1 iron anvil. Thank you.
5 grapes.
Yes. I mean, I'm not sure, that might actually mean 5 portions of grapes. Rather than just 5 grapes. Why is your mace forbidden, my dear mace dwarf? That seems weird. That's Likot Emandenuk, or something like that. What? Have they died? No. Can I not spell? Likot. Oh, they were the visitor, weren't they? They're the visiting one who has probably left already. I see, yes. Or rather, they won't be in that page. They'll be on other, yes. Likot Enandemuk is a visiting mace dwarf who has just got into a fight with a giant fly and has killed the giant fly. Where did we find a giant tortoise woman's dead body? I thought we'd tidied up the giant tortoise women. Can you tell me where you saw the giant... Where, my friend, did you see a giant tortoise woman? That we may get rid of it. That's an agitated giant fly head in the water supply. Not happily in a drinking water supply. Or even in a swimming water supply. That water supply is solely for powering the logic systems. I wonder if I can find it through the stocks menu. If I search for body parts, tortoise. No, that doesn't work. Far too many things that don't work in the search on this.
Probably replace it with a large dwarven model or something.
And it just says body parts. They aren't even ordered by what kind of thing they're a body part of. Right, not a hope of finding that then. Right, and some people are learning to swim who actually don't know how to swim already, which is what we really want. On the other hand, we have here someone who is pretty decent at swimming, so I think we should put them back into one of the swimming squads. Erush Lilar Sazir, I'm pretty sure they've been in there before.
Still got tea.
Oh, Stoats, yes, I've still got tea. You probably shouldn't be the leader of a squad, given that you have no skills. That's better, yes. I mean, not no skills, but almost no skills.
Good evening, welcome back to No Skills.
Hang on. Don't do that. Because I think if you put them into the military while they're riding a minecart, I don't think they actually stop riding the minecart. But they do, I think, take off all their clothes and leave them in the swimming pool. Hopefully, because I didn't unpause with them in the military, we'll be okay. Yes. Maybe a while before they get to move. This might be a bit... Let's stop that. How about you? How's your swimming? You're an adequate swimmer. And you're not in a squad either, so we should deal with you first. Or the closest to emerging from the water. But we do have a kind of one in, one out arrangement whereby you can only leave the swimming pool if someone else enters it. So there will be a short delay until these dwarves get to come out of the swimming pool, and it's only when they do that that I can put them into the military without them randomly stripping naked on the minecart. I mean, I could just go through the dwarves by other means, finding the ones who can swim, but grabbing them as they come out of the swimming pool seems kind of appropriate. Oh, something's rotting. Is that dog corpse? Yeah, let's get rid of that. And that kite in while we're there. Right, so you are adequate swimmer and not yet in the military. Thomas Tolun Logem.
Thomas Saint Paint.
Yes. How are your combat skills? That's not very helpful. I think it actually depends on whether the squad in question is currently scheduled to do anything as well, and whether they have anything else on their minds. Like this one doesn't seem to be in immediate danger of taking all their clothes off. They seem to be having some difficulty finding anything to drink, mind. Right, they've got a bill and goblet now. And now filled it with prickleberry wine and are drinking it. Oh, they are now flagged as a recruit. Are now going to put the empty bill and goblet back into its correct place, which seems very helpful of them. Just kind of interested to see what the process is. And now they've taken most of their clothes off, yes. It looks like. But have decided that their crown has to be put away properly. I think we do have like a dedicated crowns stockpile by accident. Right, we have giant blue jays back. Right, and now going to acquire their new clothes. Right, they've managed to shed the rest of their clothes. So yes, this is why I need to be a bit careful when I put people into the military. Let's see who's about to leave the swimming pool though. So you need to be put into the military. As do you. Right. Let's just sit here watching them until one or other of them leaves the last signal. Right there. Right, Rakust should be... What are their combat skills like? Useless. Rakust Swift Abbey has now joined one of the... so I think I put them in the correct squad. Yes. And has rapidly stripped naked and gone in search of some armour. No getting distracted by drinking here. Now has a shield. Are you going to get anything other than shield? Probably yes, but by an unhelpful route. Oh dear, someone's drowned. How did that happen? Where did that happen? So it happened... And surely not in the swimming pool, because the swimming pool isn't deep enough to drown in. Theoretically possible to drown there. Well, not actually at the moment. But you can't get into those areas. Those are carefully sealed off. And like centred around here, there's no water. Oh, there, in the sea. Emalaral, yes. You've managed to fall into the sea. How did you fall into the sea? Oh, I noticed that no, those are giant blue jay bones. Those are not relevant. We do have a description of the experience, though. Right, you dodged a giant blue jay, yes, into the sea. Well, that was unfortunate, wasn't it? While we're here, let us place another head on a pedestal. Good night. Must be a useful goblin head in here somewhere. Oh yes, there, that looks good. think I could probably safely do 2 more of them because they were in a little group that I could easily find. Second one. The third one. There we go. Since those 3 were all together in the list, it was easy to remember which one. Is that the other person who managed to dodge into the same square? Yes. Please stop doing that, people. Don't suppose any of you left like any teeth behind. No, I'm probably going to need to carve a memorial for each of you then, aren't I? Still, this shows why it's important for people to learn to swim. Right, so here's someone else about to leave the swimming pool with swimming skills. Edem Tirist Selor. Do they have any combat skills? No. At some point you'll presumably realise that we're suffering an epidemic of drowning at the moment. Here's another person who has stripped off all their clothes before going to look for their armour. Still down to only 3 maximally unhappy dwarves now. Always the process of picking up a shield and then wandering off again. What is there that we should be storing next to the shields? What is going on? Is everyone drowning in the sea? There's only 2 corpses there. One of these is apparently at this level. There are definitely an awful lot of dead giant blue jays around. Oh, one of them wasn't drowned. Right, yes, you were killed by a giant blue jay, I presume. Yeah, I think fighting these giant blue jays has caused a fairly substantial mortality rate. Have we got any giant blue jays left? We have. I think given that a lot of the deaths seem to have happened up here, I'm going to summon a couple of squads. No, actually, I'm going to summon the amphibious squads. We've got almost no one in them. Problem is, I don't really want to summon people who are going to come up here, be competent with weapons, but get drowned. Let's get them to there at least. I mean, we do, to be fair, have patrols. So who was it who drowned up here? Medtob Zephonam. How did you die? Now, that all looks perfectly reasonable. He grabbed his beak dog bone bracelet and took him down with that. He grabbed him by his crown, which like should just come off. Right, then you managed to sever a sensory nerve in the right lower arm through their cloak. Grab them by a bracelet, bite them in the leg, tearing some muscle. Bit them in the right lower arm. Broke their elbow. Managed to open an artery in the left upper leg, destroying their trousers in the process. Quite a long and complicated and messy fight, this. Managed to rip their entire left hand off. Grab them by the head. Conveniently attack deflected by the reindeer hoof crown. But yes, basically shook them around by their head until something went badly wrong, it looks like. Or possibly until they just lost enough blood through the arteries in their heads. Anyway, so yes, there is a slight danger that if the giant blue jays come back, that will cause more deaths. We have already had quite enough. Here's someone leaving the swimming pool. They are an adequate swimmer. They are not in the military. Let us watch until they emerge from the swimming pool. They have no combat skills. Their name is Stukos Ingishzikel. See, they've left their clothes behind very promptly. Right, here's someone leaving the swimming pool. They have adequate swimming, very few combat skills, and are not in the military. Their name is Alath Vumomled. This person here is probably going to depart shortly. Yep, there they go. Only a novice swimmer, you do not get to join the military. Not yet, anyway. Problem with drownings is that, oh dear, there's someone else who is in the process of drowning. There's really not a lot I can do if you're going to go drowning in the sea. Also, it does appear that dwarves just sink straight to the bottom. I mean, is it any surprise you've just sunk into depression? You're meditating on torture. Also, what? At least those don't seem to last very long. But how about you? Can you swim? Yes. Can you fight? Not really. What is that health condition you have? Ability to grasp somewhat impaired. Does that mean you only have one working hand? Well, we'll see. Let's put you in the military anyway. Dusim Vuto Caned. You're leaving the swimming pool. Can you swim? Yes. You're not in a squad either. You have dabbling axe dwarf. Well, no, that's not very good. Your name is Zon. You haven't immediately gone off to do a military job. Shockingly. You instead appear to be going down to the farm. Yes, it looks like it. Oh good, the flooding down here is reducing a little now. Still seem to be getting kittens. We should probably have a quick look at the gelding list, shouldn't we? try to keep the kittens under control. Right, now you're storing a copper battle axe somewhere for some reason. Even though you're in the middle of hauling some rock nuts. What are you up to? At least there are plenty of bags around here. I also observe you're not wearing any clothes. Well, apart from a crown and a sock. Anyway, I will leave you to whatever the hell it is you're doing. I think you've just left the swimming pool. You're a skilled swimmer. You're not in a squad. You have at least adequate observer. That's still not very much. Your name is Led Aludusim. I think, on the basis that we've run out of space in the waters of Twinkling. Actually, no, that's not sensible. I'm going to put you into the waters of Twinkling anyway. And then what I'm going to do is to look at can I visit those people? I don't think so, no. So I should have a quick look at people who look like they're military and see if they can swim. If they do have enough swimming, then if I can find someone who has decent combat skills and decent swimming skills, and that isn't like already in charge of something, you've got no swimming skills at all. Then I will stick them in charge of Splatter the Lyrical Seas of Turmoil. There we are. Id Adsazir, you are going to be the new leader of Splatter the Lyrical Seas. Right. Where did I pull them from? Right. So now we can start the next batch. Can join the Splatter the Lyrical Seas of Turmoil. So what's the current schedule for Waters of Twinkling? They're currently on staggered training. I think I'm going to switch them to constant training for a year or so to try to get them up to a useful standard. Because, like, they're not going to be useful until they can actually fight. And I can't visit the person from their job. I have to go, what's their name? It's Odom Olinereleth. Just want to check that the squad does actually have someone competent at the head of it at least. Yes, right, good. So hopefully you can teach the rest of the squad how to, like, fight. Right, I think that's enough for now. I think we've suffered quite a few deaths, which might be a problem. See, I think we should take those off station, simply because otherwise I will accidentally get them stuck there if I forget that that's how they're configured. Let's clear a lot of this up and generally finish up for the night. Yes, there is a lot of tidying up to do there. So yes, that will be all I think for tonight, and we will be back on Friday, I expect, to carry on and try to find what else we're doing next. Possibly finally getting the military properly organised, I don't know. Anyway, so until then, good night. Oh, there are a few buttons I pressed before I say that, aren't there? Good night.